Shout out to the Cows Gang. I'm your host, Mr. Palmer, and welcome to the show, Victim or Volunteer. Man, what's going on, Cows Gang? Hey, I got something very interesting that I want to talk to y'all about. You have a woman by the name of Sandra Wilson who was trying to be a Good Samaritan and end up paying the price for it. So let's rewind this back to 2022. June 16th, she was visiting a gas station across the street from her apartment where she regularly go to, right? And she usually stops there, to buy coffee. But on the night in question, there was cigarettes, right? So you look at the surveillance video, she could be seen entering the gas station wearing a blue dress. Inside are two other women who proved important to what would later happen. She was waiting in line, and one of the customers ahead of her is seen putting her credit card down on a counter while she talks to an employee. Seconds later, she leaves the store but leaves her credit card behind, right? So Sandra is seen walking up to the counter, purchasing cigarettes, and while waiting, she noticed the card sitting there. So instead of picking it up, she followed the customer who recently walked out of the store and said, "Hey, did you leave a card in there? Is that your card?" And the woman said, "Yeah, it was hers." So Sandra could be seen grabbing the card, walking out to the woman while she sat in her car. She didn't know it, but Sandra gave the card to the wrong woman, who police allege that woman bought hundreds of dollars of alcohol later that night. So all the things you buy using somebody else's credit card, stealing, you buy alcohol.
Amazing!
No one alleged that Sandra ever used the credit card. In fact, she only held on to it for about 15 seconds. But the following week, she started getting calls from her family and friends asking why she was wanted by the police. Her picture was all on social media, first on the Detroit Police Department's 7th Precinct Twitter account, then the Popular Crime News, and the D on Instagram. Both said she was wanted for illegally using someone else's credit card. Now, that's funny, because I'm gonna show y'all the news clip, and in the video it showed that she gave the card to the woman. Now, don't get it twisted. It could have been some, hey, get a card to somebody else and let them do the deed, you get a piece of action. But from the video, you're gonna see differently. So check out this news clip and I'll get back to y'all.
She usually stops in to buy coffee, but on this night it was cigarettes. That's Sandra in the blue dress, and those two other women inside, they're important to this story too. The one leaving in the blue jeans just made a purchase and walks out just as Sandra is walking in. She's second in line, behind the woman at the counter in pink pants. Sandra waits, but as the woman in pink finishes up her business, the woman in jeans comes back in. Now watch carefully, because what you're about to see, Sandra can't. The woman in jeans talks to the cashier, then puts down her credit card. She doesn't make a purchase and walks out without realizing she left the card on the counter. Sandra walks up to buy her cigarettes, and while she's waiting, the woman in the pink pants walks out of the store. Only then does Sandra notice the card sitting on the counter, but she doesn't pick it up. Instead, she follows the woman who just left and says she asked her a question.
"Did you leave your card?"
And she said,
"Yes." Got the card, walked over there to the far end of the pump, gave her card, and I went home.
Sandra didn't know it, but she gave the card to the wrong woman, who police allege used it to buy hundreds of dollars in alcohol later that night.
Man, so what y'all think about that? What y'all think? But let me get back to it. So as they said in the interview, she was like, "I just went to the store." She recalled, "I just went to the store," right? And she knew she didn't steal the credit card, so she wasn't tripping. So she went to the 7th Police and tried to clear her name. She went willingly on her own, and as she should. And as y'all saw in the video, she was being interrogated. Shortly after sitting down, Sandra was told by the detective that she is the focus of the investigation, and is told she'll get her Miranda rights. So that's when Sandra say, "Hey man, I want a lawyer." because she saw that they finna try to. So as you saw, you know, she was repeating that she didn't steal, you know, I didn't do nothing, I don't steal. And she kept repeating for her lawyer a couple more times. And the detective had Sandra read, you know, her Miranda rights allowed initiating and then signing her name, which I wouldn't have signed nothing. So the detectives wrote at 10:54 in the morning, subject refused to make a statement and asked to speak to an attorney. And here's the thing, the interrogation did not stop. It continued on for 30 minutes, and not just with one officer. Second would later join. And what kind of made her look like she was lying or the police talking about the got you.
Got you, bitch.
You know you don't right. So they asked, who'd you get a card to? She said she gave a card to the clerk.
A Detroit mother says trying to do the right thing got her interrogated, arrested, and charged with 2 felonies that ruined her life.
But did Detroit police officers cross the line during an intense interrogation that was caught on camera?
7 investigator Ross Jones reveals what experts are saying about this tonight.
I never was going to admit to anything that I didn't do. I'm not no thief. But they didn't care.
Sandra Wilson faced 4 years in prison for a crime she says, and video shows, she did not commit. She was charged with 2 felonies after police accused her of helping to steal a credit card left behind inside this gas station. Her crime? Taking it from the counter and handing it to a woman who, she says, told her it was hers. Turns out police say the card belonged to a different customer in the store. Sandra says she was trying to be a good Samaritan, but Detroit police said she was part of an elaborate scheme and arrested her.
Handcuffs?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess this is what you've.
No, because this is what y'all want to do to me.
After being interrogated, she was in lockup for 3 days, lost her job, and spent the next 4 months fending off 2 felony charges until Judge Paul Cusick would finally throw the case out. Shocked it ever got this far.
Absurd and ridiculous and wrong. And this was not a thorough investigation.
But aside from a shoddy investigation, did the officers who interrogated Sandra violate her constitutional rights? Tonight, there's evidence that they did.
I do have to advise you that you are the focus of the investigation at this time.
This is video from Sandra's interrogation after she voluntarily showed up at the 7th Precinct hoping to clear her name. Minutes after she sits down, Sandra is told she's a suspect. She says she wants a lawyer.
So I'm going to read you your rights, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm a reasonable person.
Can I call my mom and have them get me a lawyer real quick? Because this is...
That's fine. You want an attorney?
I need an attorney.
Right at this point, it should have been clear there shouldn't have been any more discussion.
We showed the interrogation to 2 different experts. Wolf Mueller is an attorney who specializes in wrongful imprisonment cases, and Carl Marlinga, a former judge and prosecutor.
The magic words are, if you say lawyer or attorney, every experienced police detective knows that after that, questioning has to cease.
But Sandra's interrogation didn't stop. It continued for 30 more minutes.
Miss Wilson, would you like to provide me with a voluntary statement today?
I don't know what y'all want me to tell y'all. I just walked in the gas station and y'all took a picture of me and ruined my life.
Do you
Hold on,
want
you gotta relax.
I don't know what y'all want me to say.
It kept going until Sandra said something that officers believed was evidence of her guilt.
Who do you give that card to, Miss Wilson?
I gave the card to the man behind the counter.
We know that's a lie.
Who did I give it to? I said, here's the card. Is this your card? I don't know. I don't know them.
It's clear from the interrogation video that Ms. Wilson didn't even recall exactly what happened.
Brandon McNeil is Sandra's attorney who defended her at trial, where the detective who interrogated her would testify.
The defendant stated to me that she took the card off the counter and gave the card to the clerk.
McNeil says DPD violated his client's constitutional rights. Judge Paul Cusick never had to rule on whether they did because he threw the case out on its merits. He didn't think there were any.
I don't think the victim was well served in this case, and I certainly don't believe this was fair to Ms. Wilson. Motion for directed verdict granted.
But tonight, Wayne County's prosecutor is defending how this all went down, saying that because Wilson was not yet in custody, her right to an attorney did not apply. The experts we talked to disagree.
While she may not have been in custody and handcuffs when she came in, she is being detained. You don't have to be put in handcuffs before your constitutional rights start.
I don't believe that this is close. I think that this is a pretty clear case where any statements that the suspect made would have to be excluded.
Through a spokesperson, DPD says this interrogation is now under investigation. Tonight, Sandra Wilson is preparing a civil lawsuit against the department. She says it's the only way they'll learn from what they did to her.
It could happen to you because it happened to me and I lost.
Ironically, DPD has still not apprehended the woman they believe fraudulently used that credit card. She still remains wanted tonight. From the newsroom, I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
The unfortunate part is she lost her job. Her name is stained all over in Detroit. She's in jail for something she didn't do, and now she feels she's on her own. So once she went to court, as y'all saw, the judge said this is they did not do their due diligence as a detectives, as police. And now she can't get a job, won't nobody hire her, and she's So the good thing is someone did a GoFundMe for her and was asking for $15,000. She's ended up so far raised $14,092 today. And she also filed a lawsuit. The police basically said they did their job. The judge don't know what they're talking about. I want y'all to check this video out.
Just an outpouring.
But if Sandra was hoping for an apology from Detroit police, well, she'll keep waiting.
Was this good police work?
I think it is strong police work.
Chris Gravlin is the department's director of professional standards, and tonight he's defending the officers who interrogated and later arrested Sandra Wilson.
I need an attorney.
Okay, that's fine.
Cause y'all about to hand me up on something I did not do.
Throughout her interrogation, Sandra can be heard asking for a lawyer. But her interrogation didn't stop, and 2 independent experts we consulted said it should have. Gravlin disagrees.
It complied with our policies as well as the Constitution.
He says that because Sandra voluntarily walked into the precinct after police put her wanted picture on social media, she was not considered in custody. She'd been read her Miranda rights, Gravlin says, and should have known she could leave. He insists they arrested the right person.
She held onto the card for 15 seconds?
Correct.
Do you have any evidence she got a dime from it?
Not that I am aware of.
Do you have any evidence she knew the woman she gave the card to?
Not that I'm aware of.
Any evidence this was a scheme?
Not that I'm aware of.
Why then was she charged with credit card theft?
Because she's the one who actively took the card off the counter and went and handed it to not the owner of that credit card.
DPD is defending charging Sandra based on this exchange during her interrogation. It came long after she asked for a lawyer.
Who do you give that card to, Miss Wilson?
I gave the card to the man behind the counter.
We know that's
Okay.
a lie.
Who did I give it to? I said, here's the card. Is this your card? I don't know. I don't know them.
To Sandra, this was an honest mistake that was easy to explain. She was being asked about a 5-minute visit to a gas station she frequents regularly that happened 10 days earlier, and the only thing used to jog her memory were still pictures. But to DPD, this was evidence of Sandra's guilt. She must have been trying to hide something they believed, even if they couldn't prove what it was. The judge who tossed the case was furious.
Absurd and ridiculous and wrong. And this was not a thorough investigation.
Those are his words. A judge who used to work for the Wayne County prosecutor.
That's correct. That's his view of it.
You think he's wrong?
We do.
And that's typical city of Detroit response.
With their response. Hey, y'all heard it, folks. So they basically said, you know, the judge's response to the whole situation is ridiculous. And to this day, they do not know who the woman was that took that credit card, nor do they have any leads, any suspects on that credit card. So I got a no counts gang. Is Sandra Wilson a victim or volunteer? This right here showed that sometimes being a good Samaritan can go wrong. So y'all be careful when y'all try to be good Samaritans, because it could backfire just like this. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm Mr. Palmer, and this conversation is over. Cows gang, cows gang.